Today on Rappler. U.S. President Donald Trump suggests an Iran regime change after U.S. airstrikes. The Philippine government braces for soaring global oil prices. Bahrain and Kuwait prepare for an escalation of the Iran conflict. Vice President Sara Duterte pleads not guilty to her impeachment case. And Alex Ayala beats world number 56 Hailey Baptiste to reach the Eastbourne main draw. United States President Donald Trump raises the possibility of an Iranian regime change following U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites. In a post, Trump said, quote, "If the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MEGA." This despite his own government stressing that the mission called Operation Midnight Hammer was not aimed at overthrowing the Iranian government. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth adamantly said the bombing was a precision operation targeting Iran's nuclear program. On Sunday, June 22, Iran time, 7 U.S. B-2 bombers dropped 14 bunker buster bombs on the Fordow and Natanz nuclear facilities, while a U.S. Navy submarine in the region hit the Isfahan nuclear site with 24 Tomahawk missiles. The United Nations International Atomic Energy Agency says while it was clear U.S. airstrikes hit Iran's enrichment site at Fordow, it was not yet possible to assess the damage done underground. A senior Iranian source told Reuters most of the highly enriched uranium at Fordow had been moved to an undisclosed location before the U.S. attack. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says no more strikes were planned unless Iran responded. Meantime, Iran says on Monday, June 23, the U.S. attack on its nuclear sites expanded the range of legitimate targets for its armed forces. In a recorded video statement, Iranian military spokesperson Ebrahim Zolfagari says the U.S. should expect heavy consequences for its actions. Calling Trump a gambler, Zolfagari says, quote, "We will be the ones to end it." The Philippine government braces for soaring global oil prices likely to affect domestic prices, as well as the transport and agriculture sectors following the United States attacks on Iran's nuclear sites. Iran has threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway for 20% of the world's oil shipments, in retaliation to U.S. attacks. The Department of Energy on Monday, June 23, says oil firms have responded positively to their request of implementing staggered petroleum price adjustments. DOE's officer in charge, Sharon Garin, says she is set to meet officials from the Transportation and Agriculture departments to discuss targeted fuel subsidies for public transport drivers and farmers. With higher oil prices, Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chulaurel Jr. says fertilizer will be most affected as well as transport. The agriculture chief says impacts on fertilizer costs may be felt starting October to December, since fertilizers for government distribution had already been procured. Meantime, 233 Filipinos in Israel request repatriation following the escalating tensions in the Middle East. The Foreign Affairs Department raised both Iran and Israel to Alert Level 3, implementing a voluntary repatriation of Filipinos based there. Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Kakdak says 26 OFWs have been processed for repatriation and will be on a flight to Manila on Monday, June 23. Bahrain and Kuwait, home to U.S. bases, prepare for the possibility that the Iran conflict could reach their countries. Bahrain urges drivers to avoid main roads, and Kuwait set up shelters in a ministry's complex. The Ministry of Interior says, quote, "We urge citizens and residents to use main roads only when necessary to maintain public safety and allow the relevant authorities to use the roads efficiently." This after U.S. forces attacked Iran's 3 main nuclear sites on Sunday, June 22, Iran time. U.S. President Donald Trump also warned Tehran it would face more devastating attacks if it does not agree to peace. Tehran had warned before that if the U.S. attacked, it might strike American assets in the region, including military bases. Bahrain hosts the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet, and the U.S. has several bases in Kuwait. Vice President Sara Duterte pleads not guilty to the impeachment articles against her. She also asks the court to junk the case. Duterte says, quote, "There are no statements of ultimate facts in the 4th impeachment complaint. Stripped of its factual and legal conclusions, it is nothing more than a scrap of paper." The vice president also said she cannot be compelled to answer the impeachment articles that the Senate returned to the House of Representatives. Her answer reads, quote, "One fact is clear. There are no articles of impeachment presently with this court. In her response, Duterte reiterates her arguments in her Supreme Court petition, saying that the House violated the constitutional one-year ban when it impeached her through a fourth petition. Duterte also insists the delay in sending the complaints to the Speaker's office was done on purpose to avoid triggering the one-year bar rule. She also claims her alleged threat to the president during an online broadcast were, quote, exaggerations and speculations that are not supported by evidence. Duterte asserts that, quote, no final decision exists on the allegation that her handling of confidential funds was illegal or unconscionable. The Commission on Audit's notice of disallowance on her confidential fund spending is still subject to appeal and is not final. Ayala claims another top 100 victim. Ayala secured a spot in the WTA 250 Lexus Eastbourne Open main draw by winning against world number 56 Hailey Baptiste 6-7, 7-6, 6-1 in the last round of qualifiers on Sunday, June 22. The Filipina outlasted the tired Baptiste in the final set to win a tough battle. Ayala came prepared against Baptiste, the top seed in the qualifying rounds. Baptiste had just made her best showing in a Grand Slam event by reaching the fourth round of the French Open, but Ayala stayed focused to reach the main draw of the Eastbourne Open, one of the two final events before Wimbledon. This win followed Ayala's strong performance on Saturday when she beat her former doubles partner Zeynep Sönmez of Turkey 6-1, 6-3 in the first round of qualifying. This is the second straight week that the 20-year-old Filipina has made it to the main draw of a WTA 250 event. And that's today's wrap. I'm Kara Oliver. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.